School is the most important thing in your life. And while I hate school, I got a PhD. And I hate school. I hate everything about it. So somebody say, E, if you hate school so much, why you get a PhD? Because I hate school, but I love options. You can have average skill, but you can't have average will. You can't have average will. Like your will has to be phenomenal. You have to see basketball as the gateway. It's like a passport. Basketball is just your way to get in, and then once you get in, boom, then you dominate. So I'm telling you, you're not taking a test because they're giving you the test. You're taking a test that's about to change your life, your mama's life. And I know if you take the test serious, you'll kill it. When you go through your go-through, your siblings are watching you. When you go through your go-through, your friends are watching you. When you go through your go-through, your parents are watching you. And people will use your strength to get through their stuff.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy E.T. Welcome to another edition of Free Summer School. That's right. Knowledge is the new money. Get you some. Now, here's why I say it. And I knock on, I don't know what this is, plastic, knock on wood, I don't know. I say that because, listen to me, you know, I used to hate one of my math teachers because, you know, he wouldn't give you the full credit if you didn't show him how you got the answer. I thought it was the craziest thing. I'm like, bro, I got the answer, bro. I got the right answer. And he was like, I'm not interested in the answer. I want to see the process, right? And I didn't get it. Like, I didn't understand, like, what's the most important part? The process of the doggone answer. You know, but what he was teaching me is the process is the most important, because if you get the process right, you're going to always get the answer right, right? Always. Like, those numbers are not going to necessarily always be right, but if the process is right, the probability, right? So why am I saying knowledge is the new money? Get you some. Because I know how to make money. Like, in my profession, what I do for a living, you could take all my money right now. I know how to rebuild. Now, I'm not suggesting, knock on wood, that you take my money, but I'm just saying, if somebody was to take, I know how to get a voiceover gig. I know how to do a corporate gig. Like, I know what to say to a D1 football or basketball. I know what to say to a team in terms of team optimization. Like, I know how to take a team and get them from good to great to phenomenal. You hear what I'm saying? So the process, right? So that's why I'm saying knowledge is the new money. Get you some. Why? Because if you have the right information, even if you lose everything, you can rebuild it. Are you hearing what I'm saying? There are some companies in COVID that didn't go under because of what they knew. So if you luck up on $1 million, it's people who went, look, and I could be wrong, but I think the statistics are like 80% of the people, 85% of the people that win the lottery are broke 5 years later. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, they say that not only are they broke, they're in more debt after winning the lottery than they were in the life. Knowledge, y'all. But once you get that information, can't nobody go in your brain and take that from you. You hear what I'm saying? So knowledge is the new money. Get you something. All right, today, man, conflict resolution. Yo, I screwed up my whole life, my entire life, like trying to run from conflict, or not, like being afraid of conflict, not comfortable with conflict, like not being direct, not being honest because of conflict, tearing up relationships, lying, destroying business, like all kind of stuff, just because I didn't want to deal with conflict. I understand now as a grown adult, because I was an adult. I probably wasn't grown when I first was an adult. But as a grown, mature adult, I can honestly tell you that I understand you're not going to go through life without conflict. Flat out. For those of you trying to run from it, trying to hide from it, listen to me. You're not going to get through life. As a young person, your siblings, y'all going to fight. You in school, your best friend, you on a football team, basketball, baseball, lacrosse, golf, whatever. If you have a team, at some point, y'all are not going to see eye to eye. You and your mom ain't going to see things exactly the same. You and your, for real, your homie, your best friend, your coach, your little girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever, partner, y'all not going to see eye to eye. It's not going to happen. So I'm realizing that the people who do well in life are the people who know how to handle conflict, seeing that it's inevitable. Conflict is inevitable. You can't get around it, but combat is optional. Come on. You hear what I just said? Listen to me. Conflict. You can't get over it. You can't get under it. You can't get around it. Nation. All right. I digress. I'm sorry. You can't get around it, y'all. You can't get under it. You can't get over it. Conflict is real, but combat is optional. You don't have to argue with your mom. You don't have to beef with your coach. You don't got to get kicked off the team. You ain't got to get a tech. You ain't got to get a tech and get kicked out the squad. You ain't got to get kicked out. You feel me? You ain't got to get a penalty. You don't have to do that. So what I'm trying to tell you is you have to learn the rules of engagement. You have to learn how to talk when you're angry, right? They say when your emotions are high, your reason is low. Like, you got to learn how to deal with your emotions. Just because you didn't get what you want, you can't catch no temper tantrum. Just because you don't get what you want, you can't withdraw. Okay, he didn't throw you the ball. Coach didn't put you in the game. You can't just have no meltdown, right? Well, you can, but it's going to affect your playing time, which is going to affect your statistics, which is going to affect scouts looking at you, which is going to affect you getting a scholarship, which is going to affect you maybe going to the league. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So let's get out of this. You know, I'm going to live a life free of conflict. I ain't going to have no conflict this week. You don't decide that. You don't control that. But how you handle it, you do. All right. B, can I get that sound the alarm, B? I got a quote for y'all. I want to read this for y'all. All right. Sound the alarm. All right. Watch this, guys. All right. It says, the quality of our lives depends not on whether or not we have conflict, but how we respond to the conflict. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So again, it's not what happens to you, it's how. So this summer, I want y'all to do me a favor. When you get angry, when you don't get your way, when your parents say something to you, your coach say something to you, or your mentor say something to you, your friend say something, like, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to decide before the conflict. Didn't you hear what I just said? Conflict is inevitable. So if it's inevitable, it's like getting sacked. That's inevitable. Getting blitzed is inevitable, right? Like getting tackled is inevitable. But you have a plan for what are you going to do when it happens, right? How are you still going to score? Like, how are you still going to win the game, right? How are you still, when that player is taller than you, how you still going to go to the hole? How you going to shake and bake? You feel me? Like, come on. How you going to cross my man over and break his ankles? You know he's going to defend you. You know he's going to check you. You know he's going to try to block you. You know he's going to try to stop you, right? But you don't have a temper tantrum. You don't have a meltdown. You strategize and you think to yourself, how can I get around them? How can I break them ankles, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm telling you, do me a favor, 3 things. Number 1, I want you to start thinking about conflict before it happens. Just think it through. All right, you got a sibling. I know I'm going to get into it. Which one do you get into it with the most? I know mom going to say something I know my father going to get in my face. I know my father going to be strong. Yeah, I already know he push me and I ain't going to want to be. Think them through. Think them through. Think about all those conflict scenarios that you know you're going to go through. Number 2, I want you to think about a plan, like a plan of action. Like, okay, and Brandon, I'm going to get in trouble for this one, Brand. But I'm going to get in trouble for this one. But the other day, Didi was like, yo, we're going to the office at 10. So, Brandon, I had to work with my writer. I had to get my walk in. I had a lot of stuff that I had to do. So I was like, all right, we're going to time it. 10 o'clock, I'm going to get in the car, hopefully 9:55. Take 5 minutes to get there. We're going to get there at 10. I'll call my writer. I'll walk. I'll get my miles in while I'm on that hour conversation. I had it all planned out, B. And then unfortunately, it was 10:10 and Didi wasn't in the car. It was 10:15. And the old me would have got angry, like agitated, like, come on, you told me 10 o'clock. Now you messing up my schedule, right? The new me, I've already thought through. She may be, late a couple days. You know what I'm saying? We may not be able to. So I was like, yo, I'm going to call my writer. I told her, like, we might get interrupted when I'm driving. The signal might, whatever. I'm not at whatever. Give me 10 extra minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom. Don't worry about walking. When you get there, you can walk. And then once you get off, if it took you 10, 15, you lost 10, 15, you can make those up. But what you have is life. What you have is a wife. What you have is a home. What you have is healthy children. Are you hearing what I'm saying? What you have is a car. What you have is gas money. But don't trip. Like, don't trip. All right. And then the final one, I just said it. Make a plan. But then when that plan don't work, have a counterattack to the attack. All right. It's your boy, E.T. Conflict is inevitable. You can't get under it. You can't get around it. You can't get over it. You can't. So don't be emotional. Don't get yourself out of the game with a tech or turnover of a flag that kick you out. Like, don't do it. All right. Don't not talk to your girlfriend because you didn't got into it with him and now y'all ain't gonna talk for 2 or 3 days. Don't put your mom in a position where she got to punish you or your dad got to take something. Don't do it. Don't get into it with your brother where y'all had conflict. Now it's turned into a fist fight and y'all parents splitting y'all up, taking privileges from you. Now you got to stay in the house. You can't play the video game. You can't go out. Don't do it. Don't do it. Be mature. It's okay to be angry, but sin not. It's your boy E.T. Small steps, great distances. Now you know. Let's go.
Welcome to Free Summer School. Knowledge is the new money. E.T. the hip hop preacher and family are here to help you out, students. This is the summertime. I know you don't feel like doing nothing, but look, we are here to help you through the summer to make you stronger throughout the school year. E.T., today we want to talk about conflict resolution. Let's talk about it. Like, people sometimes think, you know, you're gonna go through life without any hiccups.
Oh yeah, you already said that in the last one. You're not.
Yeah.
So let me tell you this. Okay, so when you hear the word conflict resolution, what I want you to hear is resolution. No, I'm just saying, some kind of way we got to make it resolution conflict. You know what I'm saying? Because we make it conflict resolution, and then people focus on the conflict, right? But you got to focus on the resolution, right? So I tell people this all the time. I left the crib when I was 16. Why? Because we couldn't. My mom and I, there was no resolution, bruh. You feel me? And sometimes people see that as a bad thing. Like, you was homeless. That wasn't a bad thing. Like, we couldn't resolve it, bruh. And so what happened is it would keep happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, the conflict would keep happening over and over and over again. And, you know, it's my mom. So we trying to, because we love each other, we trying to pretend as if the conflict just going to go away. And it wasn't. And so it was like, yo, the best thing to do to resolve it is I need to get up out of here. You know, I got a little sister. My little sister's watching me. She beefing with my parents because I'm beefing with them. You know what I'm saying? And she ain't even on that. So it's like, yo, I got to get out of here, you know. And with me leaving, it really made the relationship better because we didn't have to worry about certain aspects of the relationship. Like, my mom didn't have to worry about disciplining me no more. I didn't have to worry about getting disciplined. She had to put me on no curfew. It was just like a lot. It had got to a point where it was like the mother-son thing, you know, that it was complex. You feel me? And then I ended up leaving. Bro, when I tell you, me and my mom talk every day pretty much now. My mom in my crib in San Diego. I'm like, why you leaving so early? You should stay later. So we realized that this needs to be resolved. So the best way for it to be resolved was for us to withdraw. And I think what people have to understand is they spend so much time on a conflict and trying to fix this. Like, no, at some point you got to look and say, what's the resolution? If talking is the resolution, we talk. If getting a counselor is the resolution, we get a counselor. You heard Fatah say they went to a conference. If going to the conference is the resolution, you go to the conference. But at the end of the day, you got to stop the conflict because the conflict is messing up the relationship. So you stop the conflict and then you focus on the resolution, and then eventually you get back to a place where you can have a healthy relationship. But I'm telling you, bruh, you got to learn the art. It's an art. I think that people don't study it because people feel like avoidance is the best thing, and it's not the best thing. You know what I'm saying? Or what's the word I want to look for? Just not dealing with it. They think that's the best thing. It's not. It's finding a resolution, moving in that resolution. The resolution may take a week or two. It might take a month. It may take months. Me and my mom didn't get cool, you know, the next week. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was the next year. It could have been when I went to college and had my first child. You know, we got cool, whatever. So, but people need to understand it's a part of life. It ain't going nowhere. You can't get over it. You can't get under it. You can't get around it. You have to deal with it straight up. So get the skills. You can go Google conflict resolution. You can go listen to audiobooks. You can go buy a book. You can go to a conference. Man, conflict resolution is all around us.
Yeah. Yeah, that was amazing. Fatah, talk to us. What does conflict resolution mean to you, and how have you to implement it in your life?
You know, I love this question because I feel like just within the work that I do, this is what we're always navigating. Yeah. But the word, I mean, just to reframe the word, I would call it challenging obstacles. You know what I mean? Because it's a challenge. Like, if we think about different obstacles, like the tough martyr, you know, those races that they do, people train for it, right? Yeah, those Spartan races, people train for it. But just in our relationship building, when we have challenges because of perspective and preferences, those are the things that we're trying to overcome and trying to learn. You know, I've been referencing the 17-year-old foster youth that I've lived with us, and this was the thing for her. She's been in the foster care system since she was 7 years old, and just, 17 years old, she just finally got to reunify with her family. But when I think about her experiences and how she was able to overcome it, it was because she looked at it as a challenge. So when we can have the kids, you have to think about it. When you're in school, when you're talking with a teacher that doesn't really understand you or understand your way of communication, think of it as an obstacle. How can you overcome this obstacle so that you know that, oh yes, I was able to win this challenge? And if we can look at it from that lens, imagine just the approach that teachers would have to kids or parents would have to towards kids. If we don't look at them like a problem, and this is one thing that I learned from the marriage conferences from Ian and also from Quest, is that the problem is just a problem.
Right.
I'm not the problem.
Right.
You're not the problem. It's just the problem. And if the communication, which I've really found to be the biggest obstacle, how to, communicate with each other, if that's where it's at, then where's the groundwork? Where do we need to meet each other at? And oftentimes I feel like, I'm going to reference the school that I went to too. A lot of the teachers really didn't understand me, and I couldn't understand some of the words they were using in the classroom setting, because it was, it just was not a part of my daily lingo, until it took our PE teacher, African American, came in, and when he started to identify that, okay, I think this is, this is the way she's showing up, so I need to show up to her in this way so that I can break her out, get her out of her normal, so that she can see she can adapt. You can adapt to this environment. And so I think a lot of times for kids, being able to overcome those conflicts, to see the long-term effects, of those decisions that you're going to make, or the choices, I think they'll definitely arrive. Kids will definitely arrive to it if they can just understand they are not the problem. I am not the problem. It's just that one thing. It's that communication piece.
Mustafa, how do you use conflict resolution?
I want you to ask Moose this another 6 months from now.
Yeah, he's still fresh.
You know, thank you. I need you to wait a minute.
Yeah, he's still fresh. I'll come with some live examples at a later time. But I'm right behind E on this one, man. I think it's really how we view the problem or the concept of a conflict that I think will change your overall perspective. I think Q, naturally for me, my upbringing and just what I've experienced as someone who is first generation and not from this country, navigating the school system, literally at elementary school, middle school, high school, and even college, it was a different experience for me. So when conflict arises or any challenge arises, my natural reaction or instinct was to always retract. And when I started to break down what I was doing from a behavioral standpoint, what I realized is that I always took people's first response as their final answer. So if I asked for a question, or I asked a question, made a request, or I was looking to create a favorable outcome for myself, and you said no, I automatically took that as the golden rule and said, oh, okay, no, that's just the standard for life. It's no, it can't happen. When I got more involved with business and I started to see what some of the successful businessmen were doing, men and women, what they did was they would seek alternative solutions. So maybe you don't do it the way I asked you the first time, but maybe there's another way to do it where we can get a little bit of my way and a little bit of your way. And that was literally one of the greatest discoveries that I've made in my personal and my professional life. So that's a principle that I always carry in my back pocket now. When it comes to conflict and conflict resolution, don't accept people's first response as the final answer. But more importantly, don't be the aggressor, don't be aggressive. Just seek alternative solutions. Let's look for a different way for us to get to a happy medium. So that's been, something that has helped me unlock many doors since then.
Wow.
That's
powerful, good. Powerful. Auntie Val, let's go to you, Auntie Val. Conflict resolution.
So for me, conflict to me, it symbolizes growth. Because it's not just the norm. It's not staying stagnant. It's growth. So when you grow, you're pushing against the grain, that thing that's holding you down. So when you have conflict, but the resolution part is what helps you grow. So now it's time to grow. We're growing, but what makes this growth purposeful. So, and here's the word. I looked it up. So a kind answer soothes angry feelings. So in the midst of conflict, you have to find the kind words, because the conflict part, you can't get stuck there. That's the beginning of the growth. The resolution is the part where you grow, where you actually grow. So the conflict is not where you stay. It's the resolution that makes it better. So I think we have to take ownership, especially in our youth. We have to take ownership of, okay, what role did we play? But regardless of, you could be right as wrong, whatever, right? You could be right as wrong, but how you respond in that situation will determine what's the outcome. Because the resolution still has to be, usually it's like childbirth right there. When you get ready to birth that thing, that's where the conflict starts, when the change is about to happen and the change is coming. It don't mean throw the baby out with the bathwater. It don't mean stop going to school. It don't mean don't go to that teacher class because you don't like her or y'all had a disagreement. It doesn't mean that. There is a resolution, conflict resolution, and there's always a resolution. It doesn't mean you're going to agree.
That's good.
Resolution doesn't mean agreement. There's an outcome. And it doesn't always mean walk away. It means sometimes you just got to get through. You got to go through the get through so you can get to.
Ooh.
So it's just part of growth.
On the other side. On the other side.
Come on, Val.
Man, it is. It's part of growth. And that's that sometimes and I'm a Terry right here for 1 second. We have been conditioned to look at grades. Right. We have been conditioned to look at grades. In educational systems, parents, oh, you put the A report card on the refrigerator. We're looking at the outcome. We don't look at the growth. We think if our kid get an A, it's an A. Oh my God, it's an A. But what about that kid that had a 10 F and now he has a 65 F? There's growth. But the report card just says F. But the growth is so important. And when you have conflict resolution, that's where there's growth. There is no grade. So there is no final. It's the growth that matters. And I'm pushing for that in education. It's the growth. Wow. It's the growth, because I still can learn, but it's about my growth. I might have an F, but I still learn some in your class. So I'm working on that resolution part. Got to keep pushing it in the kids. Definitely.
Yeah. And again, we talked about so many different things this week. Decision making and just conflict resolution. Right. And I'm going through a conflict right now. Right. Speaking of free summer school, my kids are out of school. Right. And I'm trying to do this. And, while you guys were talking, I'm like, I have to, resolve this conflict. I have 2 of my 3 sons pestering me right now. I said, man, do I make this content or do I resolve their conflict? So we're gonna meet my sons right now. Come on in, guys, because they keep bugging me. Say hello. Say hello.
Hi.
Okay.
Hey guys.
Hi guys.
What was so? And watch this. I know it wasn't important. What was so important? What was so important that you guys were waving at the camera while I was trying to listen to everybody? What was so important?
I don't know.
What did you guys need?
We were just gonna ask. Yeah, we finished. Yeah, we finished.
Okay.
We just.
Did you do the other things that were on the schedule? Because they've been watching summer school as well. Yeah. Did you do the next things that were on the schedule?
Yes.
Okay, you have about 8 minutes to watch television. Watch it fast. Thank you.
Can we play?
No, just 8 minutes on TV. Just go. I resolved your conflict. Go. See y'all later.
That was in real life. That was real time, folks.
Real life.
You can't pay for that.
What I'm trying to tell y'all is there's always going to be an issue. I saw something. I saw like a stop talking loud. I saw something. Well, it was like a billionaire said. It was like anytime you solve problems, you become successful.
Yeah.
And when they said that, I was like, huh? And they made examples. It's like if you look at anyone who is super successful, they solve problems. And a lot of times we think you're in high school, you're in grade school, you're thinking that your life, I keep saying it's going to be an easy pass. It's just going to be a smooth sail. And it's not like that. So if you learn, I'm in a position now in my life. I wish I knew this when I was your age. If you solve problems, make it a game. Yeah. Because you're going to have problems. Yeah, like anytime my day goes smooth, I'm like, for real? Like, really?
Right.
It just went.
Wait for it.
Right. So I just think if you start to learn how to solve your own problems, I'm not saying everyone else's problems, your own problems, you'll start figuring out like, okay, cool. If I can solve this, I can make this happen. Things will start becoming easier. It's almost like a video game. You solve small problems, you'll have bigger problems. Don't think anyone you see on the screen doesn't have big problems that we have to solve every single day.
Yeah.
And I used to be one of those people. Oh, we have a problem. I'm done with you. Oh, we got a problem. I got to go.
Right.
Yes, me too.
Right. What you miss in that is there's a lesson. Like Mustafa said, there's a lesson that you can learn, and you become stronger by every problem that you solve. Don't think you're going to get to a certain age and it's like my problems are over, or you're going to get to a certain money or standard and things are over. No, you're going to have more issues and more problems and more things that you're going to have to, try to figure out in your life. So if these problems you think are big now, I want you to go back 10 years prior.
That part.
If you're 15, right, and you're like, well, I got to deal with this and I got to do. Think about when you were 5. What was the issue when you were 5?
Right.
And see how small that issue is now because you got over it. So you're always going to have issues that are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, but you'll get stronger and stronger and stronger through conflict resolution. Charles Terry Jr., please take us home, sir.
Let me tell you. So I enjoyed that live demonstration because I gave my 2 in there a very, very stern understanding that the door is closed and it will be no noise on the other side of the side door. And I was very clear about that. But I agree with you. But I got 16 and 10. They got it.
Yeah.
So,
they got a couple whippings to help them to remember not to touch that door.
Come on, some choices have been made. You know what I'm saying? It's a choice. It's a choice. It's yours. Okay, but here we go. So with conflict resolution, when you look at it, it's not so much about life if you're going to have conflict or not. And I think Val mentioned just a minute, we're going to have conflicts. It's going to be the response to the conflict. So being a former 911 dispatcher, I'm going to use this analogy. Let's say you cut your arm and you're bleeding. Okay, don't run around screaming and yelling at you're bleeding. Let's control the bleeding. Let's deal with the first thing first. Let's put pressure on the bleed. We'll stitch it later. But if you keep running around, you ain't going to have no arm to stitch in a minute. You know what I'm saying? So in the same scenario, when things are going wrong and you're having issues with people, don't run around talking to everybody and you're going on and you're adding fuel to the fire. Let's stop. Control the situation, whether it's control the bleeding, control the problem. And then we can fix that stuff later on. Just stop talking. If that's the control, stop talking. And we can mediate it later on because you keep talking. Now the whole school talking. Now y'all supposed to be fighting outside, and neither one of y'all even that mad. But y'all turn it into a whole thing. So control your scenario, control the narrative, and don't do the most. Just be cool. What you got, Val?
Don't do the most.
Look. I just got excited. This is what I learned. The better you are at solving problems, the more money you make.
Absolutely.
More money.
That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt.
The better you are at solving, think about it. The principal solves the problems in the school. They can handle the fire alarm going off, parent-teacher conference, report card, all of that. So when you learn how to juggle and solve problems and not freak out, you moving up. So you want to make money, right?
Tall coins.
Surgeon, yes. Think about it.
Surgeon make a whole bunch of money. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you got to imagine if you going in there for surgery, you cut something else go wrong. You got to be able to say, do this, do that. You got to be able to think and push through.
Let's go.
So
the tax man make a whole lot of tax problems. You make a whole lot of money. Yeah.
And keep a whole lot of people out of jail. So that's good.
Just what Val said. Look at these companies, right? Uber solved a problem that taxis couldn't figure out. You had to go outside and wave a taxi down. Some of y'all don't even know what taxis are. But Uber is like, I come to your house. Boom, right? They solved the problem.
And I tell you when I get there.
Right? If you look at Airbnb, people have a bunch of homes. I'm not here or I got an extra house. Hey, maybe a regular person wants to rent out their home. They solved a problem, right? I mean, you look at Amazon. You push a button and it's at your house in 24 to 48 to
same day,
72 hours, sometimes same day. They figured out a problem. They solved the problem. And these are companies that are not $1 million companies. These aren't companies that are $1 billion companies. Some of these companies I just named are $1 trillion companies.
Yeah, and growing.
$1 trillion. And these are things that you guys are easily accessible to. Like, oh, Instagram, they solved a problem. I want to get my picture or my voice or my message out to the masses. Facebook solved a problem.
Instant.
what Auntie Val
That's
said.
good.
You solve problems, the more money you make.
More money, more money, more money.
Yes.
That's good.
More money, more money, more money.
Where your
What
head?
is it? Knowledge is the new money, right?
Get you
Uh-oh.
some.
Please.
Get you some.
It's
Yeah.
abundant. It's an abundance of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
E.
Go.
Man, take us away, brother.
All I'll say, this is, we don't have time. This is for my parents out there. Please go to flightassessment.com. If you have not already done the assessment, do the assessment. But one of the things I want to show you about problem solving as you get a little bit older, and mature is what I mean. More importantly, is we're going to teach you how to take the emotion out of problem solving. Like, it's not necessary. As I mentioned, with my mom at an earlier age, I might have been, but later on, when me and my mom was trying to, she got grandkids, not whatever, we're trying to figure stuff out. I just had to learn. It's like, yo, this ain't something that we're gonna keep talking about, because you got your way of doing it, I got my way of doing it, but I don't have to be emotional about it. It's just like, yo, me and my mom, like, she's strong-willed. I don't agree with everything she don't agree with. So my mom worked all her life. I'm an entrepreneur. Like, you know what I'm saying? We didn't see eye to eye, with that. Now, of course, with what do you call it, Q? With exposure and time, my mother sees entrepreneurship a lot different than she did before. But I think the reason why I was able to pull her over on this side, because I stopped trying to make her see as an entrepreneur when she worked for 30 years of her life. It's like, how you gonna make somebody see in 3 weeks something that they was doing for 30 years? I just let it go. It's like, let's not talk about it no more, because anytime we talk about it, it's gonna create, we're not going to be able to communicate effectively about it, just because I speak as an entrepreneur, you speak as somebody who's a 9-to-5er. Like, we don't have the same language. You feel me? But I think the bigger piece is just learning how to take the emotion out. Just because we don't agree don't mean I have to take that personal. And as a result, you know what I'm saying? You see, mom wrote a book. When we travel, she on the road. Like I said, she at the crib in San Diego right now. And I asked her, I was like, why are you leaving so soon? She's like, well, I didn't know how you would get communication. Like, I didn't know how you would feel about it. I'm like, I ain't there. Like, I probably won't be back. Go for it. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy yourself. So for those of you who are listening, for real, knowledge is the new money. Again, we don't have to do this. All of us have stuff to do, especially on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday. Doggone every day of the week, we got stuff going on. But it's important to us to help you, because somebody helped us. None of us got here on our own, and none of us continue to be successful on our own. We all still have to rely on one another and the others that we rely on. So small steps, don't overdo it. Don't do too much. Great distances. Now you know. Let's go.
Let's go.